Hello, hi, how are you? This is me. Welcome back, and hope everyone is safe and all is amazing, and life is lifing beautifully and incredibly and magically, and every and each one of us is present to be present in the magnificence and expression of all of the magic of the universe. So this video is the idea that again was kind of inspired, and I was about to do a more elaborated video on like the backup and all of that, but I think this is the perfect way, and again everything is happening as it should be in the most magical way. So instead of being self-explanatory, I would just trust the process. So this is the video / audio / meditation / anything you want it to be, and it is, I think the idea is it is of a visual poem. So it is a bunch of like visual things that tell a story. And it is about growing and learning. So imagining that how we grow is each one of us, each person, each human being is like a beam of light. Is a point, is a circle, is a square, is any shape, any form you want to be. This is it. This is the being, this is a singular unit, and first we see how this singular unit is interacting with other beings. And we are interacting with different spheres, with different forms, with different shapes, colors, all of it. Any other forms of expression that we would engage in, with different numbers and all of that, different languages, letters, all of it. And when we know each other on the level that we are able to understand and perceive, the level that is natural to us, that is agreed upon by us, and that makes sense at this specific point in time, and it is as it is. This is what we decided it to be. Again, all coming from our free will, consciousness, mind, subconsciousness, all of that. It is what it is, and this is how we see ourselves, this is how we conceptualize ourselves, and this is how we see that we are who we are. We are interacting with others who we don't know at this point, but we can guess, we can assume, and we are interacting on different levels as we think. Sometimes we discover that different beings know themselves, herself on the levels that we haven't heard of. We only knew, for example, shape, and now we see someone else is knowing themselves, not only in terms of the shape, but also color, but also they have number expression, they have language, they have different letters, and we're like, oh, what am I then? Who am I in this new form of knowledge? And then something happens that we expand, we grow, and at the same time we shrink. And then in this moment of like expansion, we have a new level of vision. We don't only move horizontally, for example, and knowing ourselves in the interaction between different beings, like different points, different dots looking from the above on the piece of paper connected by the line. But now also we know a new dimension, a new access opening in our self-knowledge and knowledge of the world, just different perception of vision, how we interact and see the world. And so we move not only horizontally, but also vertically. And we're like, whoa, so this is why this whole change the process, the expansion, this is why it was such a difficult transition that I burned and I recovered, and somehow I'm a new person and I feel kind of good, refreshed. Again, maybe now my side note or footnote, moving from the year of snake into the year of horse and or year 10 and or year of wolf. So it is like now we've gone through, we literally shedded our own skin, we grew. Maybe it was painful, scary, all of that, all of the above, beautiful, enjoyable, like a part of a lifetime. But here we are, and we are new, renewed, and we have this new perception. We see the whole new world, not only vertically, but horizontally. And we can see that now we know, we see more. We see that we expanded, and we see that not every bits of different people, different beings that we have interacted before and know them and ourselves in their mutual relationship, that they exist. But also we see that, oh, this my new friend Bob, he expanded, we also can relate on this new level, that some beings expand also on this level, and they can meet us. They're like, oh yeah, I've been here for a while, and good to see you're also here. What about this? It's like you discovered a new show and you binge watched it. Maybe it was like, oh, I didn't get enough sleep and it was an experience, or I enjoyed it, but now I know I have this knowledge, this information of this new show overnight. And then you meet like your friend, like, yeah, I watched it, a while ago, some time ago, I watched it at this point, and we can now discuss it. So what's up? What are your ideas? And out of this new relationship, we have this new perception. We have this new beautiful opportunities to learn more, to understand ourselves more, and be like, oh, what a beautiful process. What a journey. Amazing. It took us a while, and we are here, so beautiful. And then at the same time, it can be that we would grow again, or, it depends on, again, how open we are, what happens, what information we have, different situations, circumstances, which upon, again, we have agreed and we designed and discussed them, all of it. This is our mind creation to a different point, looking again from above to below. And then different points from this point of development of being, function, and existing, living, breathing, seen from the new perspective, we have a bunch of axes and a bunch of different arrows going from this one point to, every possible degree imaginable on different levels. There are so many trajectories, so where we go, you can get scared, you can go below, you can return to the state, you can reject any gifts that you feel scared of, that you don't understand, that you don't have the support group, or, whatever the situation, you can always go back to. And there is no, I think at this point, there is no like ethical, like, oh, this is the good choice, this is the bad choice. Since like the whole idea of opening a new dimension of seeing is for you to break out of it, to break out of the primal or pre-existed understanding on what is the concept, how do we work with the different ideas, how do we conceptualize, etc., blah, blah, blah. What do we use as a unit? Do we use language? Like any and all of it, it's useless at this point. It's undiscovered new, and yet you are not scared. So how do you function on this new level? It's totally kind of, again, up to you. You can decide, you can do whatever you want. That's the whole point why we are here. And the breakthrough is that you see that there is endless possibilities, and we are the one deciding, meaning each person is deciding upon himself, herself, themselves on what they are doing at any point. It is our privilege and responsibility to decide, think, be, breathe, how we like, what we like, and focusing on our own self, kind of knowing thyself. And you can go in any direction possible. You can go up, you can go down, left, right, and then it goes to the point that you know yourself on a different level, and then the process kind of repeats itself. You can, as we discussed in detail, you can go down, you can go left, right, you can get kind of allocated in the community and go in the different, in like primarily vertical relation, just on a different level, on the new dimension. It's like, multi-layered experience, but you get used to, and this is what the horizontal movement, so you move in the same direction, and you can go like, you can go like, why don't we go on the next level together, or why don't we like build schools, or okay, so we are in this new level, we would need the language, we would need new established norms, let's create the new vocabulary, etc., etc. So it's up to you where you go. You can get accustomed to the community, but it would be a different experience. And then you see that here you can kind of get used to, you can get stuck, and it would feel like movement, but you can get stuck, and you would not continue moving, expanding, to the new dimension, to the new vertical. And then you see, and the customs, like the stuckiness, goes from being comfortable in a way, and it all has its own purpose. Like if you are not moving, there is maybe an internal movement, or you're not meant to, or this is what you choosing again at each millimicro, mini, nanosecond. But yet it is all about the continuing change. Change is life. If you're not changing, you're not living. Like, no. And there is an option of whenever you're moving, I don't know, level, let's go with numbers, 1, 2, 3, and then whatever level you are as a game of life, and you can kind of, the ego can grow again, and the change happens when the ego is broken down. So kind of, typical quote, the light can come in. And it is essential to be aware of it, but of course it all happens naturally, and all of the resources are provided as always in the perfect time, so there is no even need to worry about that. And it's all about the focus, what you focus on. But it can be that you are going to a new direction, and then you get like super excited or scared again, depending. And either way, I guess this is what like kind of the Buddha meant when it's like, we gotta detach ourselves from all of the attachments, because either if it's good or bad, you can get stuck to that. You can be overexcited, and then you decide that you don't want to move to the new because it's unknown, and this is kind of amazing. Now we can compare. We moved from 1 to 2, kind of awesome. We have some people here, we're all on the new level. Isn't it cool? And then you can, ultimately the ego is not, even if it's built on any level, it's not stable. It gets cracked out again, and then you move to the new direction, and then to the new, and to the new, and the process is infinite. And then you see this leveling up from even a different perspective, from the side view. You get the side view of this, almost like a dot, moving to the next level, and you see that this whole, even like micro, something that was once super huge is super small at this moment. And you can see it from the side that this is the, again, cyclical movement. It goes in cycles, how it moves, how it evolves, and it is you. And you see that there are patterns in how you develop, how you grow, how you know yourself more. And you see it's the vertical projection. It's like the micro nano vortexes. and the fractal shapes that move in the constantly moving in the constant like fractal, the same image reflecting itself in the multitudinous of the same imagining images. And it is a spiral, and there is like the specific rhythm and how it goes, and it's all, beautiful. And you are at the same time, you are in the process, you are the process, you are, in the smallest joyous moment, and at the same time you are detached. You can see it from the side, like looking at the, like beautiful spiral, beautiful flower. It has its life on its own, like each little petal, each little, dot, all of it, it's beautiful. It has its own life, like it's developing each cell of the flower. But now you can see it from the side. You can enjoy it from the side, and the enjoyment opens itself in the new level. It's not that like it's not pain, or it's joyous now. It's temporary joy that defines by time, because when you're able to look from the side and enjoy the flower, so to speak, flower being transformation, and yourself from the side, you have this understanding and the new vision of the experience and the beauty in kind of the joy of timelessness, of being just like as you are. It's like the feeling, the bliss, you feel safe, and it's even like beyond, because safe only exists in the opposition of non-safe, or like, violence, non-violence, and green and red, or I don't know, black and white. And then you break out of it. You see like it's all the same. It's all of the colors in white, for example, or, all of the colors in black. If you mix them, you got this color. And each experience is contained in each experience. In a single drop of the ocean, you can know the whole structure of molecular structure of, I don't know, the ocean, of the water. Or and so you get to this new perception of beauty kind of floating from the side, and then you evolve to the next level to, seeing yourself from the side. And it's a constant kind of process. So this was the poem that came through, the visual poem, of the constant process of change, development, evolution, expansion, and seeing through the illusion, kind of peeking behind the veil, sneaking behind the scenes, the backstage of any concert of life, etc., all the beautiful metaphors. But and then you get to the point that there is like, first you're happy to see behind the veil, and you're like, oh, that's cool, and then you see like another layer, and then you see that even the veil itself is the illusion. There is no veil, and everything is kind of projection of a mind. So I guess when you separate, when you integrate / separate even further, when you go even deeper, higher, go to the new level, when there are actually even like no more levels, and it, but kind of more into the self-knowledge, bliss, union, you see that everything is kind of oneness and in a beautiful state. And so you see kind of as you go further and further, you get deeper and deeper and closer to yourself, which is the world around us and everything. So you see more the interconnectionness, to the point that there is nothing to be interconnected. So everything is one, and I don't know, I had this vision of a painting that we, for example, see let's say again, like a flower. Why not? They're so beautiful, right? You see a flower, and then it's a small painting on a canvas, like 20 on 20, I guess, centimeters. And then the next painting is kind of the same square, but a little bigger, let's say 30 on 30. And you see that this is the flower is, it was a patch. It was not a real flower, it was a patch. And you see the back, or the back side is the blue. You're like, oh, beautiful color. Okay. And then there is the next paint, the next canvas, even bigger, like 40 and 40. And you see that this blue on the back side wasn't even a sky. It was the pocket, the back pocket of the jeans. Like, okay, this is the, beautiful jeans. And then you see the next canvas and you see that this was the painting. So it gets even zoomed out. You see like there is a whole person, and they're wearing this beautiful, maybe not a jeans, actually overalls, and the backpack. Is it the backpack, or anything on the back? It has this pattern, this painting, this patch of the flower that we once thought that was the real flower. And then we zoom out, we see the next painting in the row, and it's even much bigger, and you see that even this whole person with, the initials flower being smallest bit, even the whole person, it was a part of a bigger painting, and there are like other people, and they're outside, and we don't even know if this is the end. If this is like there is a next painting, and this whole painting with our initial flower that we thought was real is like a small dot. And at this point, what is real? And then you go from this wondering and seeing the next painting, you kind of zoom out and you're like, oh, but what was it all about? It was about my experience, enjoying, the art installation, how I'm connecting my thoughts. And then as you look deeper from the side on those paintings, you tune into yourself, into your sense of like, why not to turn inward, like how am I connecting, etc. And then it becomes kind of about you, but in a ultimately like selfless way, but you focus more on yourself, your experience, your perception, and it expands your vision. They're like, oh, wait a minute, I am aware of this connection, life, my experience. And then you're like, actually I'm inside. And then you go outside and you're like, okay, not to get a hold, but not to lose this feeling, this experience of being aware, knowing the connection, that it's all about the experience. But you go outside and then you either lose it and it begins from the start, or you expand even into the new experience. Now I know it's all about the experience, my inner knowing of self, and then how am I interacted now, not inside in a reduced space, but now that I'm outside, like what's up, what I'm going to do with my knowledge, with my information. And yeah, so this is, another visual poem, 2-in-1, I guess, all the same. But yeah, just came to me, why not? This is the visual poem. I just love the concept. Hope you enjoy, and hope again everything is well, and good to hear, see you. Hope you have a wonderful day, night, evening, dawn, all of it in betweens, and amazing year. Happy New Year. Take care.